Facebook family! Welcome back. Welcome back. Whenever you hear that, you know what time it is. Some of y'all might not know who's behind me. It actually came up on the screen today since I was running a little late. I thought what better chance and opportunity to pay a little homage. Oh, by the way, damn, look at that. Sorry about that. Why does he sound so far away? Because his microphone is so far away. Okay, so here we go. That beautiful face behind me. Hey, Kev. My brother's watching. That face right there belongs to a very special person in my life. It happens to be my firstborn son, Sean Michael. He happened to graduate early. And I'm not talking about from college or high school. I'm talking about from the planet. Those of you may or may not know the story. Basically, it's not important. What is important is that we're all going to graduate one day, and that he graduated a little early, but I know where he's at, so it's okay. We're going to see him again. I don't know about you, but I'm just passing through, especially in these tumultuous times, right? Who do we got right there? Emma Louise, and Janine, thank you for tuning in. All right, so we got I think it was a great show today. It actually sparked from a patient that came in today that unfortunately had CHF, congestive heart failure, and also pleural effusion. And believe it or not, they're actually tied together. And I'm going to explain that to you all in just a moment as I dive out of here. I thought I lowered that enough. It's actually distracted me. It's cool music though. All right, so, doctor, how do I get rid of fluid in my body? How do I get rid of the fluid around my heart? How to get the fluid in my chest? And before I even get started, I'm going to do something that no other doctor has ever probably done before in their lifetime. And so what could that be? What could that be? I'm going to apologize to you and to a patient that came in. Miss Elizabeth is her name. I won't say her last name, but she knows who she is. And I'm going to make it right, but I omitted something. I made a mistake. Wow. What? Yeah, a doctor. By omission, I made a mistake with her care plan. I omitted something that I'm going to go over that is vitally important to those of you out there that are holding water, effusion, mucus, pleural effusion, by the way. Pleura is that part of your lungs where the major bronchi come in, right in the center of the chest there. And when we see what looks like cotton balls or a milky white appearance on X-ray, then that is the effusion, right? It appears like milky white substances around the bronchi, the major bronchi in the lungs. And in the heart, of course, congestive heart failure is where that fluid builds up around the heart. So what's the point? First of all, we have to understand, well, let's go medical first. Medically, what they're going to do, they're going to treat you with something called albuterol, right? And that's not an issue. What's an issue is that the standard of care that they have to go by, the doctors have to abide by, sometimes, unfortunately, most times, they actually help and then they make matters worse. What do I mean? I mean, when we take those breathing treatments, right, of albuterol with a nebulizer, those of you who know what a nebulizer, it makes little molecules out of a liquid so that you can inhale them, and they'll go very easily into your sinus cavities and in your upper respiratory tract, up in your upper lungs. And so what's wrong with that? Well, in the case of my mother, God bless everybody, hey Mom, I'm sure she's watching now. She's my number one fan. Of course, my dad would be my number two fan, so they've been with me through thick and thin, and I want to say thank you again to them. So my mom had some pleural effusion, and we took her to the hospital. They gave her some albuterol. Now again, the challenge isn't the albuterol, it's how many times they give you the albuterol. What do I mean? She was scheduled for 9 treatments, and the first 2 or 3 worked really, really well. I mean, her hands were white with no blood flow, but then they started turning red, and she asked me, she said, Michael, why are my hands turning red? I said, Mama, your hands are turning red because your blood flow is coming back. Oh, well, that's a good thing. Right, that's a great thing. Well, 2 or 3 more treatments, right, about now we're up to treatment 5 or 6, her hands started turning white again. Uh-oh. Michael, what's wrong with my hands now? Well, Mom, the blood flow is not coming. It's not going back into your hands. It's stopping from going into your hands. Well, but Michael, they say I need 9 treatments. I need 4 or 5 more treatments. What am I going to do? Well, here's where you all need to have an advocate, somebody that is going to be able to, they don't have to be a doctor, they don't have to be a lawyer, might help to be a lawyer, but no, if they're just able to see and listen and watch, observe what's going on with you while you're in the hospital, then they can do what I did for my mom, right? Which was go to the doctors and say, hey, my mom's hands were turning red, but now they're turning white. They're cramping. They're very painful. Can we stop the albuterol treatments? Because obviously they're having a reverse effect, right? The doctor, of course, they're going to, like what they said to me, they're going to say to you, sorry, we cannot stop them because this is our standard of care. Well, why do you have a standard of care that would hurt people? We don't. It's in place to try and help. But if you only need 5, but the standard of care is 9, the doctor has to go by the standard of care. Otherwise, he's legally liable, and his malpractice insurance won't cover him or her. So they can lose their car, their house, and their family. Not okay. So what do? Well, then you got to ask the doctor, is okay if we go against AMA, right, against medical advice, can we go back to the hospital? Sometimes the same hospital. Sometimes they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. In the case of my mom, they said no. So I had to go to my mom and say, listen, you need to make a decision now. You're scheduled for 4 or 5 more of these treatments. Your hands are already white. It's only going to get worse. What do you want to do? Well, I think I want to, and before she could answer, the door actually opened and the doctor came in. He actually had a little cart that he drove right in there with his little computer on there. He said, let me check her again. And so he was super nice. He actually checked her again. It was around Christmas time, maybe that was part of it. But I told him, he said, well, her kidney balance is a little off. That's why I'm concerned. And to which, again, you might need to know a little medicine, or everybody Googles everything today anyways. You can say, hey, if you Google albuterol and kidney function, you're going to find that it interrupts with the kidney, the BUN and a couple other things. So the point is, I said, hey, wouldn't that interrupt with it? And he's like, yeah, it would. Okay, so we're going to stop that. Since it's interrupting with the kidney now, we can shut off the albuterol and she can go home for Christmas. Yay! So at any rate, we need an advocate. That's the lesson there. And number 2, getting back to our patient today who had not just pleural effusion, but also CHF, right, congestive heart failure. And so my point to that is she went medical first, like most people do. She came back with a beta blocker and a diuretic, right? Neither of which is really going to help the problem, unfortunately. The beta blocker is going to slow her heart and decrease her blood pressure. Her blood pressure was already something like 80 over 50. So it's extremely low, right? And so obviously taking something that was going to lower your blood pressure more, like a beta blocker, is not the best thing in the world maybe to do. And then, going on a diuretic, which is going to pull water from the body, hey, what's wrong with that? Well, it's also going to pull minerals. And unfortunately, minerals and water is what carries electricity, right, in our bodies to make our heart beat, right? It's electrical. And so if you start throwing off the minerals, you throw off the heartbeat. And sure enough, she had an arrhythmia, right? She had an arrhythmia. Her heartbeat wasn't correct. So, long story short, we gave her a couple protocols to do to take off the water. And there's a natural thing you could do that doesn't take out your minerals. And if you all are writing this down, I'll give you a minute to get a pad or pencil because you're going to want to write this down. The first thing you want to do to take off the water is called liposomal vitamin C. Again, it's a very special form of vitamin C. It's not water soluble, it's fat soluble. Why is that important? Because every one of our 50,000 trillion cells has a double layer of fat. Not 1, but 2. Right? It's called a phospholipid membrane. So I get distracted easy, but it's a phospholipid membrane. And so that's 2 layers of fat. Why? To hold a charge. Why? To hold minerals, so you can hold a charge. So if you take something that takes out your minerals and takes out your water, you take out your charge. You cause an irregular heartbeat. You cause AFib. You cause all kinds of deleterious things to happen to your heartbeat. Maybe not the smartest thing. So we go liposomal vitamin C. Liposomal vitamin C will take out the water without messing with your minerals and your heart. Kind of cool. And then number 2, to regulate the heartbeat quickly, what happens is like sometimes they give you a calcium channel blocker. Why would you want to block calcium? Because inside the cell, if there's too much calcium, the cell doesn't work right. The electrolytes, the energetic flux, the energetic flow doesn't come down right. The mitochondria get disrupted. All not good things. So instead of a blocker, how about something that would take out calcium naturally and put in magnesium? You mean there's a product that can do that without a drug, without any side effects? Yes. Here it is. It's called Natural Vitality Natural Calm. It is a form of magnesium. It's proprietary. Well, Dr. Grego, I tried magnesium. I tried ionic magnesium. I tried transdermal magnesium. I tried magnesium chelate. I tried magnesium malate. I tried magnesium citrate. I tried magnesium. Forget it. Stop it. Zip it. They won't work. There's only one form of magnesium that'll work, and I just told you what it was. What was it? Class? Those of you who haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you have Matthew Broderick should have won the Emmy for that, the Oscar or whatever, excuse me. Anyhow, the point is that form of magnesium, and I'll give my brother some props. Actually, Dr. Greta, did you come up with that by yourself? No, my brother Kevin, a pretty astute guy, actually came and said, Mike, have you tried this form? I said no, but I'm always open, right? As most doctors should be, if they can be. And so he said, try this, and I did, and sure enough, my heartbeat, which was irregular because of NutraSweet, but that's another story, we won't go there, and the next day it regulated. I mean, it was irregular times 10, and it regulated itself, and then I chelated myself and got rid of the NutraSweet, but that, again, that chelation will be another story. Dr. Grego, stay focused. You don't realize how tough it is, y'all. When I got these subjects, I got these lines, I want to go off, I'm a squirrel, I want to go get a nut over there, but look, there's a bigger nut over there, there's multiple nuts over there. And so pray for me that I stay focused, because it's for y'all. It's not going to help you if I go into 55 directions, Dr. Grego. Where were we? What were we talking about? We're talking about water around the heart. And we said the first thing to take the water off without damaging the heart or the heartbeat or the electricity that needs for the heart to work is what? Vitamin C. What kind of vitamin C? Liposomal vitamin C. Okay. Then, number 2, the magnesium, the natural calm. Natural calm. They have a proprietary blend. You're not going to know how it's put together. I'm not going to know how it's put together. All I know is that it works. So we gave her that. And then the last but not least thing, I have to reach down over here, pardon me for 1 second. Dr. Grego, what does he have? The handy dandy nebulizer. Don't judge me because it might be from China. Unfortunately, they still make the best electronics and the worst electronics. Actually, isn't that something? It's the best of times, it's the worst of times. What was that? That's the Tale of Two Cities, right? Dickens, I think. Anyhow, the point is, look at that. Look at that. What is that? What is that? That is atoms of liquid that can be absorbed super quick and super fast into your sinus cavity. Make sure you get the face mask, right? Because we want to breathe in through the nose and the mouth, right? And get both. We want to get it down the upper and the lower parts of the respiratory system. Looky there, looky there. Isn't that cool? Okay, let's get it a little closer. All right, neat. Okay, so what do we have in here? That's what you should be asking. How come you're not asking that? Dr. Grego, what do you have in here? What do I have in there? By the way, this is a nebulizer from China on Amazon, about $35, $40. If it breaks, just buy another one. It's a lot cheaper than buying American, even though it's shame on me. But it's just sad. I mean, it's sad. We shouldn't outsource everything to China. Don't get me wrong. That's not okay. But here we go. What's inside this nebulizer? What's inside this nebulizer, Dr. Grego? Well, alkaline water. Alkaline over 7 pH. That's super important because we are alkaline, and that's what absorbs quicker into the lungs, especially when it's broken up, when it's microclustered. These little vapor things could get even faster if they're breaking off from alkaline water. They can be made even more thicker, better, easier to absorb. Okay, back inside the water then is what? Celtic CELTIC. CELTIC, Celtic sea salt. Why sea salt? Well, let me ask you a question. Put this down for a second. Let me ask you a question. When you eat salt, what happens to your mouth? What, do you get thirsty because your mouth gets dry, your body dries out, and you need to hydrate? Well, if I breathe in a good healthy salt like Celtic sea salt that has the exact same ratio of human salts down to the millitenth, the millimeter of salt, and that's the only reason why the evolutionists believe we came from the water, because sea salt is the exact same ratio as human salt, therefore we must have came from the water, not. That doesn't hold water in my book. It shouldn't hold water in your book either. But at any rate, Celtic sea salt. Celtic sea salt with water. We breathe it. It dries our sinuses. It dries our lungs. What a pleural effusion is wetness. Well, what if you dry wetness? It's not wet anymore. It's dry. Then there goes the pleural effusion. What if that gets around into your blood and the Celtic sea salt through the lung? Right, we go into the heart. We can actually dry up a heart. That's right. We can dry up a heart and we can dry up a lung just with this nice little nebulizer. Dr. Grego, how come my doctor didn't tell you that? Because it's not the standard of care. And they'll lose their house and their car and their dog. Don't let them do that. Don't let them do that. Just use this channel. Use this channel to help yourself. Why am I here? Why is anybody here? We're here to help others, right? And you say, well, I never did answer the questions. Y'all didn't catch me. I went off on a squirrel to go get a nut with a nut. And we didn't say, why would the body put in its infinite wisdom, right? Heck, we're beating a heartbeat 70 to 72 times a minute. That's 80,000 times, give or take, a day in a 24 hours. 80,000 heartbeats without saying beat. 20,000 breaths without saying breathe. Is that a lot? Is that important? Do we have to go to school for that? No! That's the doctor inside of us. So why would the doctor inside of us mess up and put water around our lungs or water around our heart? Because we're not breathing correctly because we don't have enough oxygen. Huh? If we can't get it through our breath, then we get it through H2. What's that last one? O. So if you're not smart enough to breathe from your belly, right, when you just want to breathe from your chest, which is going to cause you to become hypoxic, well, is that going to mean I'm going to get water around my lung? Not for the first 10, 15, 20, 35 years. But eventually, your body will say enough's enough. I don't have enough oxygen. I'm pulling some water in here because I'm smarter than you. Obviously, you're not breathing right. If you're not going to breathe right for me, then I'm going to pull water to get the H2O. Okay. So let's breathe correctly. Let's fix foundationally the problem. Where is this coming from? Because we don't have enough salt in our body? Not really. Because we don't have enough albuterol in our body? Not at all. Because we don't have enough drugs in our body? No, you're not short of any drug. You're short of oxygen. How do we get oxygen? By breathing. And how do we breathe? We breathe from our belly. You want to know technically, look at Wim Hof, WIMHOF. Wim Hof on YouTube. That's a free thing. Go there and learn how to use the Wim Hof method. If not, just take your focus, take your mental focus, your awareness, and put it down in your belly. And then take a deep breath. And make your belly move first. And expand it to the point where it's kind of uncomfortable. And it hurts. Expand it, expand your belly till it hurts. And it better move before your chest because this is sympathetic. This is fight or flight, low oxygen. I got to move or I'm going to die. And if something emergency-wise is happening, then fine. But if there's no emergency or if it's over with, stop it. Breathe from your belly. Belly breathing gives you more oxygen. You won't become hypoxic. You won't have fluid around your lungs. You won't have fluid around your heart. Your body won't have to say, hey, idiot, you need to I'm going to put water around here if you don't start breathing right. Can it be that simple? Yes. Wow, Dr. Grego. Yeah, wow. You're welcome. Listen, I hope you guys learned a little something today because every week I'm going to bring you something nice, something good, something that's not very expensive. How much does air cost? These days, pretty soon there's going to be a premium on it, right? But the point is, seriously, I'm going to give you inexpensive, healthy, safe ways to help yourself. And if you find that valuable, please share this because why? Sharing is caring. Oh, Dr. Grego. Yes, sharing is caring. And now I have to excuse myself for just 1 second because you know what this is not doing? It's not playing. It's not and stop playing my music. One day, I'm going to surprise y'all, and y'all are going to be like, wow, I mean, everything he did, the technology works, the lights were right, the music, the background. Yeah, it's not today. But right now, tonight, excuse me 1 second while I come back on here, over here, and I turn back on this lovely little music, because it's time for me to say sayonara. Arrivederci. Hasta luego, and ciao. I hope you guys had a little bit. Say goodbye to my son and say hello when we graduate. Just graduate a little bit early. Y'all, we know where he's at. We're all just passing through. Just going to transfer the awareness from here to there. Amen. Love you guys. Till next week. Dr. Greg Okido. Share this if it was valuable. Okay.